We have Dan on the phone. I think we're ready.
Dan's okay. Yes.
Okay, Sherry Stoutmeyer.
Here, Sherry's on the phone.
Thank you. Julie.
Here.
In present.
Catherine Cabot.
In present.
Here.
In present.
In person.
Lee Parker.
Here in person.
Quincy Crower.
Here in person.
Kim Knudsen.
Here in person.
Sherilyn Harris.
Here in my jammy.
And Richard Shoemaker.
I'm here.
Dan Jury.
Here on the phone.
On the phone, thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Catherine, before we do that, just for the sake of clarity, can we have anyone else on the phone identify themselves, please?
Jeff Bridges on the phone.
Jeff.
Okay,
Okay.
very good.
We're going to call the meeting to order at 7:31. 8:31. And Lee, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, is there any public comment? None. Moving on to the consent agenda. Discussion and possible action regarding any consent agenda items needing separate action. Seeing none, we will, by consensus, we will move on to discussion and possible action regarding investment matters.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Trustees, you have the monthly flash report before you. And I do want to spend a little bit of time with the monthly report today because it's a very different investment world that we're living in now. We've all seen the impacts up close and personally of the COVID-19, but the portfolio is feeling those even more so than we might be feeling them in our day-to-day lives. I will remind everyone we have a portfolio that is built for the long run. We are heavily invested in the stock market. When the stock market is experiencing volatility, we experience that volatility as well. You'll see that the monthly investment reports, we had losses in February totaling about $27 million.
Jeff is saying he needs to stop you.
Okay.
It's coming in garbled. I don't know if it's offended you or on the phone line. If you hit your mute button, if that will help, I don't know. But it was coming in garbled, and I could hear the beginning, but not the more recent stuff.
Can we make that louder too?
I turned up the volume on the speaker. How about everybody else? See if it's just.
I already had mine. This is Sherry. I already had mine. I can hear it, but it is garbled.
It is
I lost my video, but I can hear you.
I can hear it, but it's garbled. Not so bad that I can't figure out what's being said, though. Right, you too.
Oh, she's still there.
All right, let's keep going then.
So I'll go back a little bit in my comments, and I just need to remind the board that our investment portfolio, we expect volatility, and in times like these, we should expect to participate fully in the downside, and we are. When we are expecting, when the quarterly report, when the quarter end valuation comes through, we are going to be at the point where we need to rebalance and sell bonds and buy equities, even though equities are down a lot. The way we make money over the long run is we have that long-term asset allocation plan. We stick to that and we rebalance even through the painful times, and that's how we continue to make money and be in the very, very top of the distribution in the long run. So, in addition to the losses that you're seeing before you, the 27 million, Robert and I had a conversation with Callan yesterday. Through the end of, not yesterday, but the prior day, these days are feeling like they're months long at this point. We've lost an additional somewhere in the vicinity of $40 million in market losses. So we should expect that when we get the quarterly report, it's going to have a whole lot of blood in it. But that's our expectation. I'm not hearing a great deal of pain or concern from anyone. If the trustees are feeling that, please let me know, and I'm happy to have a conversation with anyone about it and discuss our process and our thinking. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that any trustees have.
Well, we don't know, like, the stock market was up a little bit this morning, and so we don't know if there's going to be a rebound in a couple of months. But overall, that's just speculation. So, as you said, we just have to deal with whatever is going on.
We built a plan that is a good plan for the long run. Now we just have to continue executing that plan, and it will pay off for us.
Okay. Thank you.
If I could just comment, I think that we're working on this as well by getting into infrastructure. Although that hasn't happened yet, we have recognized that we're at risk with the stock market like this, and unfortunately that takes time to move, but just want to comment that we are looking at that as well to try to build in some protections to us.
Agreed. And we did talk with Robert, and I talked with Callan yesterday about the rebalancing and what we do with assets that we will eventually be called for infrastructure. And we'll have we have a plan that we will, if and when we rebalance, we will rebalance back towards our current target asset allocation. And then we will keep that target asset allocation until such time as infrastructure assets get called, and then we will pull funds from wherever we need to in the asset allocation to move us back towards the target. And so it will be a little bit of a moving target as we go down the road and the infrastructure funds get called. So.
So, do you have more for the monthly report?
I have, Robert, was there anything else I needed to talk about? I think I've covered it all.
Yeah, no, I believe that was about it.
Okay, then moving on to item 4, discussion and possible action regarding agreement with Segal for actuarial consulting services.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Trustees, you have a proposal from Segal. The 3-year contract term is up June 30th of this year, effectively. And similarly to the proposal we brought last month from Brown Armstrong, given everything that's happening in the organization, it's my recommendation that we renew Segal for another 3-year term, and just keep moving down the road. And we have other things we need to focus our time and energies on, such as finding a new executive director and everything else. So it's my recommendation that the board renew the contract.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the 3-year
second.
contract.
Second. Discussion on the motion?
Who made the second motion, please?
Tim?
Thank you.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Okay, we're gonna do a roll call vote. And Judy, are you,
Yes.
okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Madam Chair, we have to do it by roll. We have to do it by roll call, so Judy will have to call names.
Okay, so, yes.
Okay, I'll start. Sharon Shepard,
Aye.
Julie Forrester,
Yes.
Catherine Thomas,
Yes.
Steve Parker,
Yes.
Quincy Cromer,
Yes.
Tim Knudsen,
Yes.
Geraldine Harris,
Yes.
Dan Jurdy,
Yes.
motion approved.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 5, discussion regarding administrative report. The first item is 2020-2021 State Association of County Retirement Systems Board of Directors elections and nomination period.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe I did not update, did not get all the updates in the administrative report here. I don't believe I addressed that. No, I did. The information is attached from SACRS for that.
Okay, so we had our monthly SACRS meeting yesterday, and the deadline for submitting the desire to be nominated, it ended as usual, but we are not sure yet how we're going to handle the first annual meeting at which the election is to take place due to the coronavirus.
Okay.
So,
So we will wait to hear further updates from SACRS in the coming days. At this point, it is my understanding that the only person from our association planning to attend SACRS is the board chair and SACRS secretary. But we will, as we get updates and information, we will pass those along to the board. The legislative update is attached for your reference. The Form 700 filings are due by April 1st. I suspect that filing deadline may be adjusted with offices shutting down across the state, but I do not know at this point. I would encourage, just a reminder, your filing for AMSERA is only due to our office. You do not have to file it with the FPPC. Unless you have an obligation, some other obligation to file with the FPPC, your Form 700 is only due to our office. I would encourage everyone to try to get that done as soon as you can, as just to avoid any issues with the deadline.
also, I just wanted to say, James, that if you're a county employee and you're in management, you also have to file the 700. So there are various requirements as a county employee to file the 700.
Okay. And then the last item on the administrative report is not of much significance. Thank you all for your patience and understanding and flexibility in a rapidly evolving situation. My expectation is this is probably going to get worse before it gets better with COVID-19. If you haven't seen, the county health officer is planning to issue a shelter-in-place order later today. At 5 o'clock, that order will be issued, and it will go into effect at 10 o'clock tonight in Mendocino County. I've also heard word that a similar order is coming in Lake County and various others. At this point, it is my plan to close the office starting tomorrow and move all of our employees to telework. And the one and only exception to that I foresee in our business continuity plan is the monthly processing of checks for benefit checks, and that has to be done in the office. And I haven't talked about that with staff, but we have some contingency plans already in place for that. We can either have one person come into the office to write those checks and get those put in the mail, and everyone else can continue working from home, business as usual. I did authorize the purchase of some stamps because that was another contingency we thought of for mailing the checks. If the county closes down, mail service won't be functioning. We won't have the ability to send out checks through the usual process. So we went and bought a roll of stamps as a contingency there. I may catch some flack from the county from that, but I don't really care. So that's where we are at the moment. I don't know what the rest of the county plans to do. I would not be surprised if the county goes to essential services only. But we're well positioned to continue our operations through telework with the shelter-in-place order. So with that, let me stop and entertain any questions that the trustees have.
Hi, this is Sherry. I'm just wondering because usually March 31st there's a rush for people to retire so they can get in before April 1. They have no problem doing that online with them. They don't have to be there to do anything, sign anything like that.
Can someone repeat the question? I had a hard time understanding.
My understanding is starting usually on March 31st, there's a rush of numerous people that try to retire to get in before the COLA. So she's confirming that somebody will be available to process the necessary paperwork to make sure that happens on time.
Yes. And with our current processes, and we built in the process to make this much more structured. The March 23rd date is the date that we're getting the rush for retirees because they have to retire immediately after the end of a pay period, and they need to plan that in advance. So March 23rd is the retirement date. I think it's the 23rd, 20-something, so that we can convert sick leave to service credit and everything else. So we're on top of that. We have all of those ready, I think, to go. And your staff is excellent at taking care of all of our members and getting everything done that we need done. So,
James, this is Tim. Are there going to be letters going out to members on what their COLA increase is?
yes.
Any other questions, discussion? Okay, then before we go into closed session, should we do general board member discussion or should we wait until after the closed session? What do you recommend?
We have it before the closed session, but it's at your, we can move it to after, or we can do both, Madam Chair. It's up to you.
Okay, well, I would recommend having the general membership discussion after the closed session.
Very well.
So we're gonna go into closed session. Sorry, one more thing, Jeff. I'm really sorry. We have to call Judy back. And how do we do that? How do we call Judy back?
Let me,
Do you need to?
I can just, I'll just give her the information on the report out of closed session so she can add it to the minutes.
Okay, I think
Okay.
that Robert is calling Judy.
Okay.
I'm sorry, should I wait?
Yes.
It's ringing.
Do we need to recognize that Richard's in person, not
Okay,
on
very
the phone?
good.
We want to recognize that Richard is here in person now.
Oh, very good, thank you.
Okay, we're ready to report out.
So there are two closed session items to report out. The first, conference with legal counsel and anticipated litigation. Direction was given to staff and counsel. On the other item, public employee appointment for the executive director. Direction was given to staff, counsel, and the ad hoc group.
Thank you. Okay, and now the last item is general board member discussion. Is there any member discussion?
Sure.
Yes.
So at the meeting this morning where I was off-site by phone, I was curious as to the sound quality of James and Jeff during that time. Was it as garbled here as it was on a phone?
Yes.
For a
Okay.
while.
James was good. Jeff was garbled.
At
In and
9
out.
o'clock, it got extremely worse, as if everybody that was using the service went online. Is my
Right.
theory. Was there any discussion about the future in regard to meetings and off-site?
How we could correct that
Yeah.
problem,
Yeah.
an IT issue. Do you have any? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There was a little bit of discussion about the possibility of trustees using Skype on their iPads. We will have to do some research on that and see what options are available to us
Yeah.
going forward. We, frankly, we might move in the direction of getting a WebEx account and just paying for that. And then everyone has the ability to connect through an electronic device with video and audio that way. So we'll do some research and see what options are available to us and what we think is the best route to connect the entire group.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I know that throughout California right now, every city is looking at this, and go-to meetings in Zoom room are like the top platforms to use. And I think I may have forwarded a thing about a device called a meeting owl that sits in the middle of this table. It's the size of a water bottle that has excellent directional audio and video, and it turns to people who are talking. And if you use it with Zoom or GoToMeeting, the quality is great, and you could feasibly put everybody on the screen or put all the documents on the screen, as long as people at home have a camera that they can be seen. And so I think with the capability of our pads, Point Arena just bought a meeting now, is trying to get it set up for next week It's about, right now, it's probably a $1,200 investment, and then the subscription to the platforms. And the quality, and I'll be going to a meeting Friday that this device and Zoom will be used. And we'll be able to check out if the meetings all over the place are causing problems, or if those platforms and this device work with heavy uses around the internet. So I'll report back on that, but I think that would be great. It was horrible this morning trying to participate. That's not to be sorry about. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And we could get Jeff off of these silly little speakerphone things and get into the 21st century, or is it the 22nd century? I don't know.
Jeff, were you on a landline or a cell phone?
I'm on a cell.
That's part
Okay.
of, yeah.
I was on a cell as well.
Yeah, this was really difficult on mine, and yeah, me too.
Yeah, just in setting up this call yesterday with staff experience, many troubles with trying to connect. So we're really aware that it's a problem.
Well,
Thank you for doing it.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's another project on our to-do list, right? Immediate project.
Technology.
Yeah.
It sounds like what you're talking about, the members would have to be here, and you're talking about sending it out to people who can't come to the meeting.
No, the members can participate from their device at home or wherever they are.
Okay.
And what it does is it increases the quality on the device here in the room and for any other participants in the public that are viewing you at home.
So they all around, everybody's.
Everybody gets a better party.
So if nobody were in the room, it would still work?
It would.
Because I mean, the visual is one thing, but the most significant part is the quality of the sound.
Well, that's the platform.
Yeah,
What you're talking about is the thing that's in the cloud.
yeah,
Is that if none of us are in the room, but we're all in this meeting from different locations, the device in the middle of the table just replaces the camera
Okay. Yeah.
and the microphone of a pad.
yeah,
It just does it in a really fancy damn way.
yeah. Interesting. Okay. Any other discussion? So is there a motion to conclude?
Move.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, motion passes and the meeting is adjourned. Our next meeting is, a regularly scheduled meeting is April 15th.
Thank you all for your patience and time and attention.
Thank you all.
We did some good work today. So after the meeting's over, just reminding everyone, beginning tomorrow, the office will be closed.
Thank you.